pretty cold this morning, although the sun is already out. Today I want to take you with me on a trip back to the past. This is the entrance of the forest. This was originally a pure spruce forest, but at one point in my childhood, the first half part of that forest was cut down and they let this natural forest grow here. Do you see all this dead, dried out lumber here? In recent years, because of the droughts here in Germany, another catastrophe struck my forest and changed its appearance forever. Because of the lack of water, the trees couldn't protect themselves against the bark beetle anymore, and that little bug destroyed almost all spruce forests here in our region. So basically, it's not a forest anymore, but you will see further ahead. The first time I went through this forest was around 20 years ago, because I just wanted to visit Daniel, my best friend, and going through this forest was like a shortcut. But very quickly this forest turned into our private playground and we experienced some of our best adventures of our youth here. And this is where it begins, the destruction. All of this had to be cut down to prevent the spread of the bark beetle and protect all the other trees. These trees over there are still remaining, but they too have to be cut down at one point. It's always strange to walk this path and suddenly have no trees around you anymore. As a child, I was here almost every single day, having my own adventures, dreaming about my future adventures when I grow up. And I always said when I looked up to the trees that my dreams are hanging in the trees. But now with the trees gone, it almost seems as if my dreams are gone with them. It is sad, but those trees naturally didn't belong here. They were just planted to make some quick money for the next generation. And nature just restored balance here. And this here is normally that little creek that's flowing through that forest. But now it's full with this kind of stuff. And currently, because of the drought, there's no water in it. It is a little bit strange to talk about the droughts here in Germany because, you know, we are used to having more than enough water here. That's why people like to wash their cars so often here. But this is our climate change currently. This is what's happening with the world, and it will become more extreme in the future probably. Oh no, what did they do to my bridge? And in the past, I like to use this to stretch my legs, especially in the beginning. And from the bridge, this was always my way up to Daniel. And this is a remnant of an old training parkour that was installed here in the forest. No one was really using it, but it was nice to have it. But that parkour doesn't exist for over 10 years now. Alright, if I keep fighting my way through these dead trees here, then there's a path that goes left, which leads directly to Daniel's street and his house. Okay, if the squirrel can get through this easily, then I can do this too. Okay, maybe I'm not as nimble as a squirrel, but I still got through. And this spot here used to be a nice little round hut. It was disassembled somewhere in our youth, but Daniel and me, we loved to climb on its roof, sit there for hours and talk about these typical teenager topics, like our next skateboard, our homework, or girls. There are also some of our most favorite trees that we like to climb in our youth. For example, this one, because this had a branch reaching to the hut's roof. So that means we could climb up the tree, over that branch and onto the roof. The moss here makes it very slippery for my shoes. It's still possible to climb up higher. It's just very difficult to do this with a camera in my hands. I can grab up here and just pull myself up. That used to be one of my absolute favorite trees to climb. It was always a little bit challenging, but nowadays there aren't many branches left because you see it's all dead. Welcome at the top of the tree. I came from down there. And this is what I mean with my very first adventures, just climbing up the trees and sometimes even going from one tree to another. I still remember I was 14 years old, sitting here on the tree, looking up to the hills and everywhere. And I was just thinking, oh, why do I have to go to school? I would love to travel now through the world. And now I'm sitting here in the tree again. 16 years later, I'm about to make this dream come true. It's time to climb down again. Now moss, caterpillars, ants, all kinds of insects, all of this on my body and in my hair. Old fence. This place has a very special meaning to me. It's absolutely overgrown now, but Daniel and me, we created something like a battle ring here by just aligning some dead trees into some kind of a ring. And here I did lots of martial arts training in my youth, and it is the center of that ring is exactly where you see this tree growing now. I think the energy that I left behind during my training was enough to make it grow like this. Daniel and me, we love that forest here so much that we even started to clean it up. It almost felt as if it was our little home or our nice little secret base. Of course, after becoming adults, we neglected this place, and now you see how it looks like. I think I won't be able to get through this. There's only one solution. I have to get onto this tree and walk over it until I reach the other side. Now one step after another. And finally out of this. Now back at the entrance of the forest, but on the right side there's still something that I want to do and a location that I want to reach. Not the best route anymore. And these are the first rocks that I ever climbed in my life. And at the top of this rock, I finish my little tour through my dream forest. You see, not much is left of it because of all the catastrophes and now the bark beetle, but it will regenerate, it will grow into a nice natural forest, and then the next generation can live its dreams in here.